after this, it means that one game in and France already have 2 points more on the board than they did the last time they defended the World Cup. A good start for Australia, but obviously things not ending the way they wanted to. Interestingly enough, France played Denmark on Saturday, and the Australians are up against Tunisia. Did either of you two, Shay and Stephen, see enough from France tonight to say, yeah, they are definitely here and in contention to go all the way again?
I think we've seen lots. I think we did. Maybe they started the game a bit slow. Obviously, Australia getting their noses in front, but I think second half we've seen the Australia low block come out and France literally just tore them apart second half. And also, me and Stephen are looking back watching, oh my God, that sub, they've got that player, they've got that player. They just kept hurting on these world-class players off the bench. So strength and depth in a tournament situation as well. And that guy in shot, Mbappe, we'll talk about him in a bit as well, but wow, what a player he is.
Do we have to be a bit cautious here, though, and bear in mind, despite the fact that Australia did play well at times, they're still a much lower level team than they'll come up against?
I think the shock of them scoring so early on, they scored a really good goal, give them really credit for it. It was an excellent goal and worked really well, but the fact there was a shock of them scoring early on, we were kind of taken back by it. And these are one of the lesser teams in scope. When we go through the players and where they're playing at in comparison to the players for France, that there really is it's not comparable at all. But the French team, when they went through the gears, when they got to the final third, the moments of class and quality they showed, they really are a fantastic football team. Glimpses of complacency defensively, but maybe that was because of the opposition overconfidence at time, leaving themselves exposed, which Australia took advantage of on a couple of occasions. But you'd feel the further they go into the tournament that will become tighter, because you are talking about world-class defenders. They're the defenders that are on most people's list for players they want to try and attract. And then you go into the forward areas and you look at people we're probably not going to show, Griezmann and Rabiot, who I think were excellent today in controlling the pass and the play. And they were very impressive.
Dare we become once again experts in reading body language? I mean, I know they've only just beaten Australia, but they do look like a relatively together squad.
The rumours weren't true, Joanne, were they, before the game? Again, we spoke about once you cross that white line, that's where you answer all the critics, that's where you put it right. And this here at the end, look, it shows a real togetherness as a squad, as a team.
That's a very intentional thing, isn't it?
Oh, you think so, but there's lots of French people there and lots of fans behind the goal, and they've travelled a long way to go and support their team as well. And that guy in shot tonight equalled the Thierry Henry French record. That's an amazing thing for him, because Giroud probably at times doesn't get the headlines that all the other players do, so it's a special night for him as well.
Yeah, disappointment for Australia. Let's talk actually about Giroud a little while. We will have a look at his goals later on. But he doesn't get the limelight. He doesn't get the huge appreciation within France. They loved Thierry Henry. They loved his record. They were okay with him being the goal-scoring record. We're obviously not speaking for the whole of France. But he isn't the man in the limelight all that often.
It's because he's not a glamorous player to talk about. He was never going to be winning Ballon d'Ors. He's not like Benzema is a Ballon d'Or winner. Thierry Henry was being pushing for those. Mbappe is probably a future Ballon d'Or winner. These are players that are the top of their game at the best clubs in world football. And Giroud has played at fantastic clubs, but he's never been someone that is a standout individual that you just go wow to. But his goal scoring record is excellent for France, and he caused the problems. 2 good goals taken really well today. And Thierry Henry is one of the greatest players we've probably ever seen in the Premier League, and to think that he's equalled his record for a national level, and Henry won the World Cup and the Euros with France, that's a pretty impressive thing to take.
And is he the sort of player as well, probably because of all those characteristics, that Deschamps will appreciate?
Well, he strikes me as a player. We talk about individuals and Mbappe and Griezmann, but he strikes me as a team player as well. Like, you can see the shots at the end, everyone's congratulating, everyone's happy for him as well. He seems like you would maybe go for a pint with or something after the game, or maybe a glass of red wine in France, whatever they do. But he does seem that he doesn't bother who gets the headlines, but he gets his job done. He holds the ball up, he gets his goals, and Mbappe's quoted, I think, as saying that he likes playing with him because he brings so much different things to the team.
There's actually a moment in the game where Mbappe comes back on his right foot, and it's that position we see where he tries to whip it in, and he gets his head up, and Giroud is pulled off the far post, and he's on a hat-trick, and he actually intentionally turns down the shot and tries to find them, and that's almost more of a stake of he wanted him to get the goal, he wanted him to break that record. So yeah, he seems to be liked within the squad.
Okay, well, on the day that Argentina lost their opening game, the world champions, they are up and running with the first victory of the competition, and they didn't look bad. We wondered, were they going to really hammer things home in the second half? And we saw the goals did come, and it was of no surprise.
Yeah, it could have been more as well, John. They created the better chances. They upped it a gear. I mean, they had a lot of patience as well. Second half, they didn't panic, obviously. They just kept playing away. And this is Dembele. We talk about the quality in forward areas. this ball into Mbappe is just phenomenal. You know, we got Harry Suter there in the end. He's 6'7", but it's the pace and the quality of the ball and the run from Mbappe, and then his spring just to get it, you know, a glancing header in off the post. It's a brilliant header from Mbappe, and this bit of skill here from Mbappe. He just slows the defender down, and then it's like he jumps on a motorbike or something to get past him. He's literally not even there, and at the end of that, they have the calmness and the coolness. Watch this slow down a wee bit here, and they pick out Giroud, he's striker. That's a brilliant ball into the box. It's just asking to be headed into the back of the net. It's a great goal.
Yeah, and Mbappe, we did up a little piece on Mbappe, and we had to throw that bit in there as part of a separate piece because there were just so many bits that we could have come up with.
It is. It's quite frightening how good he actually is. It's like, you know, you talk about pace, and pace is an unbelievable quality to have, and like, you know, Usain Bolt could be on the pitch, but it's everything else that goes with it. It's his touch, it's his finesse at the end of things. It is desire to go past people. When he gets into areas, how often he picks the right pass and makes the right decision, is running off the ball. Like, he's rarely caught offside. He should never be offside with his pace. You could give people 10 yards, but it's when he comes back in and fires balls across, and then, you know, the ease in which he gets in these positions, like, he never even looks like he's breaking stride. It's an amazing ability to have, and he's a player that, you know, you're lucky. This here, the turn of pace here, when he turns and goes, like, he has no right to try and get the other ball, and this is the one that sums up. Stands the fullback, goes past him, slows him down again, goes past him again, and then when he gets into position, it's the fantastic quality he has to put that ball on a play for Giroud. And, you know, I stick by the words I said beforehand, playing against him or Messi, and I'd take, honestly, I wouldn't want to play against this guy. He is a
superstar.
Yeah,
I mean, we talk
ridiculous.
about Ronaldo's of the past and Messi. We've seen Elvis earlier today, but there's the next generation of superstars. Tonight was his 60th cap, but he's not even 24 yet. It's
crazy,
it's phenomenal, and that performance tonight will rock the world, should we say. He's right up for this tournament.
I had a laugh because you burst out with, I'd love to see him and Haaland in a race at some stage.
And it's one of those things you just love to see, and like 100 metres, see how it goes. But I actually think he might pip him.
It's so quick.
It's actually crazy, but it's the pace. But then when you get into those areas, to still have the quality and the finesse to be able to do it, it's frightening.
To put his performance tonight in rather stark ways, you actually think the fullback for Australia did pretty well on him?
He did okay, actually. You know, I mean, you're up against what was arguably one of the best wingers or attacking players in the world, and at times, Jenkins, he gets out there, tries to slow him down. You know, it's a thankless task you're trying to do. You're trying to stop someone that's so good in possession and so good when he slows you down. So it was difficult, but at times when they doubled up and slowed up, they tried their best, but he still was found the way to get past them. And you're going to have teams throughout this competition that are going to try that, because he is going to be their main focal point for so much of what they do, and he's going to be a target for defences and teams to stop him.
OK, well, it was definitely France's night.